Okay, so welcome to section 1.1, words and expressions. I'm going to kind of walk you through how to, um, I guess, do a lesson with the video. So the first thing that'll always pop up for these videos is you'll see me with, the title for the section, like words and expressions, because that's what section 1.1 is about. And then you'll see something like, some standards here, A.SSE.1a. This is what's called the common. These are what are called the Common Core State Standards. Don't really worry about these too much. I'm never going to ask you about them, but they're just there, and I might mention them in class occasionally. The MP stands for mathematical practices, so it's another kind of subset of standards. But what you will have to do is you'll have at the beginning of a section, it'll be in your textbook, and it will be in the video, of a then and a now. And what that is I want you to kind of understand why we're doing it, when we did something before that kind of led to this lesson, and where this may be going to. So, for instance, the first then is, you have already performed mathematical operations. Kind of vague because we're just starting the year off. So this maybe won't be as important now, but it will be later to kind of piece where things go at. So the first thing you'll do is you'll take your notes, and at the top it says then, and you'll just go in with your pencil and your paper and write in there, what the then was, you have already performed mathematical operations. Boom, right then in that first part there. Okay. Now, the thing is, if I'm talking too much or if it's too much to write before I move on, you do have in your video for Edpuzzle the ability to pause me. So that's one of the key things, is to use pause and to use rewind. You'll always be able to go back. You'll never be able to jump forward. I won't give you that, but I'll always let you be able to jump back. So jump back if you need to. This video is going to go a little longer than hopefully usual just because I'm talking a lot and explaining a lot, but these should be under 10 minutes. If you're really working, you should have this done in 15-20 minutes. Occasionally some will take longer for some of you. Some will take, that 10 or 15 minutes because you'll be able to move quickly. But you do have to make sure that you, when you get done, you pause me if you need to for something. Okay, so going forward now. So first thing, or the next thing then, I might have a definition. Maybe I'll jump into an example. It just depends. But numerical expression. A numerical expression, which is what we're using this entire section, is a combination of numbers and operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so for an example of a numerical expression real quick, 4 plus 5 divided by 6. Well, actually put this 6. That's one thing to also be aware of, is we don't have on the computer, when you do stuff, you don't have a division character. We have to use the slash bar for that. But there's a numerical expression. Or maybe 3 parentheses 3 plus 5 minus 11. Again, there's another numerical expression. Or 3 star asterisk 6. That's a numerical expression. It's got all the it's just got to have some kind of operations there. I pulled a couple from the book real quick because this is really what the first half of the lesson is taking something that's verbal, like the total amount of money if you have $9 and $12, turning that into something numerical as an expression. So they realized that, hey, if you're going to have total money, you're going to be adding them together. So the sum of 9 and 12 is 9 plus 12. The age difference between 15 years old and 10 years old. Oh, the difference. That is subtraction, because the word difference literally means to subtract. So 15 minus 10. That's it. So here's a quick couple examples. Now what a lot of times will happen is you'll see an example on the screen and I jump to my example by hand. Now if you don't have the example in your notes, you don't have to copy it unless you really want to. It's maybe just me going through something really quickly, and then you'll have to do your own. So for this one here, I'm just going to walk through it real quick. So it says, write a numerical expression for the verbal phrase 18 marbles divided equally among 6 friends. So I'd say, oh, okay, well, that's 18 is the number. I'm dividing it by 6, so 18 divided by 6. It doesn't say to evaluate, it just says write it. So there we go, 18 divided by 6. Great. Another one, write a numerical expression for the verbal phrase, the total number of photos, if there are 9 photos in the camera plus 4 more. Well, they're giving it away with the plus. But again, also a total. Total a lot of times implies addition. So we have 9 photos plus 4 more photos. There we go, 9 plus 4. Okay, now what will happen a lot is, maybe do an example or two where I'll talk about something, and then you'll see on your screen a question pop up. Multiple choice, maybe for your response, it just depends upon the question, but you have to answer the question at hand. So you will see then in your little drawing a little question pop up now. Okay, so hopefully you got that right. Okay, we'll move along here. If you didn't, you can always again go back and rewind and try to figure out what the answer was. But just, the point is to kind of give me an answer. Next idea the book has is order of operations. Again, this should be review. They do a little differently because normally you guys learn this, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or just PEMDAS, where the P stands for parentheses, which is what they've got here with grouping symbols. The E is exponents. Now they've left that step out because technically we don't talk about exponents till later in the year, but you may remember that as the E there. And then multiplication, division, and a key, again, that starts from left to right. And then addition and subtraction, that also goes from left to right. So they're kind of doing a PEMDAS, or please my dear Aunt Sally, or something like that, whatever. But they left out the E there. Okay. Now again, depending on the video, we might do some examples together. I might throw some at you. It just depends. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 quick examples, and then you're going to actually have, after these 4 quick examples, 3 on your own to work out, and then you'll put those 3 on your answer sheet. Oh, and by the way, of course, if you look back at your notes, hey, look at this. Order of operations, you need to copy that in there. Then here are the 3 problems. Okay. So, let's see here. First example, evaluate the expression 17 plus 36 divided by 9. So this is kind of a super easy warm-up one. Oh, the first thing I have to do for the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally business, about the E, is division. So, okay, 36 divided by 9 is 4, 17 plus 4 then is 21. And the key to order of operations is as soon as you've done a step, you don't ignore that step, but you just start over again and then you reevaluate your order of operations. So for example, on this example here, the first thing you might see is, oh, multiplication, except there's grouping symbols here, which means I have to do that inside first. Okay, great. That's 10. That's 5 times 10 because of the multiplication. And a lot of you would probably make your mistake here because you try to do something with this multiplication next, but I have to go from left to right with my order of operations. So the first thing I really have to do is 5 times 10, which is 50. And now 50 minus 49, that's 1. Okay. Next example. Again, kind of starting over. All right, I've got parentheses. Actually, I've got brackets. And inside the brackets, I've got parentheses. Now the thing is, this parentheses means multiply. This parentheses means do 18 minus 6. I actually have to do this first because this grouping symbol isn't meant to be grouping. This is just meant to tell you an operation. So 3 brackets 12 plus 2 times 4. Okay, now I can do the 2 times 4, which is 8, because again, I start all over again. Once I've done this step here, I ignore what happened here. I go to here and say, okay, what happens? Oh, inside the grouping symbols, there's multiplication. Okay, now the step's ignored. Start all over again. 12 plus 8 is, or sorry, do the inside of that. 12 plus 8 is 20. 60. And then the last example here is to evaluate the expression. And the key to this one is realizing I've got this big division bar here. Okay, what that means is I've got really grouping symbols on top and bottom that I have to do first before I can do the division. So 49 plus 31, that's 80. 19 minus 14, that's 5. So now I can do the division because I've done both pairs of grouping symbols. 80 divided by 5 is 16. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, at this point in the video, I've done these 2 here, or these 4 examples. Now what you're going to have is you're going to have a couple examples pop up to you. They have to work through and give me the answers to. And again, this is a little longer because I did a lot of talking and I put a few examples in there just to kind of get you used to this and so that you're kind of comfortable with the program. That way if you have any questions or anything get stuck, you can do it while I'm in class to help you out. But eventually you'll be doing this on your own outside of class. So you'll need to be comfortable with this. So again, what will happen is you'll have a few examples pop up, multiple choice. Make sure you finish it, and there's always a question at the end. Once you get down to these 3 questions, don't just stop. There'll always be a question at the end of the video where I'll say, hey, what did you have questions on? Was there something you didn't get? Did I go too fast? Or something like that. Or maybe an extension question I'm going to use to start class off with the next day. So thank you. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you in a couple minutes.